Here we have an absolutely pristine Windows 11 setup. The point of this is to be concise and go as fast as possible. So what do you need to get LotRO running on an absolutely brand new pristine install of Windows 11? This is the newest build. It's the absolute newest one that we can get. I say we're going to go quick and then I just dawdle about, but don't worry, we will start really going fast here. Yeah, 22H2 installed today. So here we go. Are you ready? What you are going to need is the various, I really don't want to use Edge, but I also don't want to have to go through installing Chrome for this video. So we're just going to use what's built into Windows. I'm going to start without my data. I'm going to continue without this data. I'm going to uncheck everything possible, confirm and start browsing. I do not want to join Microsoft Rewards. I would actually like to turn this to dark and stormy, just because I've just got that grim outlook, I guess. And let's see here. That's fine. Sure, finish. Can we start browsing now? Thank you. Okay, so then let's go to Google. We don't want to be using Bing just because I'm used to Google and I don't want to lead you astray. So the things we are going to need are the Visual C++ redistributable runtimes, several versions of those, and then also the DirectX redistributables, but not the one most people tell you to install. To be safest here, we're going to get what's called the June 2010 redistributable. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we want to type in Microsoft Visual C++. C++. We want the 2005 redistributable. So there we go. Now, please, each one of these, be careful. Go to the actual URL that you want to be going to. Not to get too into the weeds on this, but you want Microsoft to appear here at the beginning of the URL. Doesn't help you if you find Microsoft farther down and it's actually going to www.ihackyou.com/hey, I'm really Microsoft. It'll be safe. That's going to be bad. So www.microsoft, here we go. Microsoft Visual C++ 2005 Service Pack 1 redistributable. It says Service Pack 1 as though this is to be added on, but this actually does include all of the, it's the redistributable plus the service pack, everything all in one. So let's go ahead and download it. English, download. Now you want the x86 one and the x64, but not the IA64 one. So we're going to say OK to these two. We're going to say next. And it's saying, can we really download multiple files? So you'll have to say allow for this site before it will download both at once. And they are both there. Now, if I know my Edge, we can click this little folder here, and that will open our downloads folder. So there they are. Now, please bear with me here. We want to actually click New and Folder, because those are the 2005 ones, and otherwise they all download with very similar usernames, file names, and you won't be able to tell which one's which. So go ahead and put those in there, 2005. And while I have you here, let's go ahead and make another folder, 2010. Whoop, 2010 and 2015-2019. Although I think the package we're actually going to download goes to 2022. But anyways, so we got the 2005 ones. We're going to go get the 2010 ones. So again, let's go back to Google. And we're going to type Microsoft ++ 2010 redistributable. All right, and there that is. So again, check your URL, be safe, then click it. And English, download. And again, the x86 and the x64, not the IA64. So let's grab those two and say next. And they are downloading. Edge just starts the download. You might have to say save or whatever. Just make sure you know where they're going. So these have downloaded. Let's make sure they're done. They are not done. Come on. Oh, you know what? If you ever look like this is like the files in progress, and sometimes the window just doesn't update. So I'm going to click anywhere in this window and then press F5 on my keyboard, and it just refreshes the screen, and they were done. The screen just hadn't refreshed. So, all right, let's drag those. See what I mean by there's no indication that's 2010 versus, well, if you hover over it, the title, because if you were to go to properties, here we go, I'm off on a tangent. You could actually see here under description it says 2010, but who's going to do that? So we grab these. By the way, I'm holding down Control. That's a Windows convention that not everyone knows, but you know, I'm assuming we are dealing with, you know, not necessarily computer savvy people who just want their Lord of the Rings game to work. So here we go. You hold down Control, and then you can select both. Then you just drag any one of them, and it'll grab both. And we're going to drag it to the 2010 folder. And now it's in the 2010 folder. Okay, now here's the tricky one. I've never actually installed this one before. Truth be told, the LotRO installer and its final phases of patching does appear to install the Visual C++ 2015 and 2019s, but you can't do any harm doing what we're about to do. So we're going to go back to Google. This time I just hit back a few times, and we're going to say 2015. See that one there, 2015. I'm going to continue typing. What happens if we just say 2015 redistributable? Yeah, but that's not what we want, because these latest ones say 2015 to 2019. So let's do a search for 2015-2019 redistributable. Latest supported. And then this one looks like if you were looking for that, you might be able to find it. But I figure, why not install the bundle that goes all the way up to 2022? So let's go ahead and do that. And a much more complicated website, but you can find them here. Skip the ARM64. We just want the x86 and the x64. So here we go. First one, downloaded. Second one, downloaded. Let's go to the folder that they're in. Now, hopefully you're downloading to your downloads folder, and if you, in whatever browser you're using, you don't have the little thing that says, you know, show in folder, just go to File Explorer and go to your downloads folder. But here they are. Oh, look at this. Here's that unconfirmed stuff again. Anyways, just refreshed again, and they're gone. That probably won't happen to you. Not sure why it's happening to me right now, but here we go. I'm going to drag those into there. All right, and while we're downloading stuff, let's just go ahead, go back to Google. This time I'm not going to use my back keys. Go to Google and type DirectX, one word, June 2010 that's fine. And now I don't have to spell redistributable because it completes it for me. And again, Microsoft.com there. DirectX end user runtimes June 2010. That's what we want. Why this one and not the DirectX web setup? Because this doesn't care what you've installed prior. It just installs all of the DirectX extensions that are necessary and needed by pretty much any game, not just LotRO. And we've seen some folks who've had some trouble because they try to install the DirectX web installer and it says, you already have it all installed, you don't need it. And this one doesn't care, it will just install it. Here's a quick little Windows 11 tweak on a fresh install. I really like to see file extensions, so let's turn those on. Go to View, Show, File Name Extensions. There we go. All right, we're going to drag that into DirectX. That's all LotRO needs. That's all of LotRO's prerequisites for a successful install and to use it. We can close our browser. And we're just going to start installing these. Let's start with 2005. So it doesn't matter which order you do it in. You do want both the x86 and x64, because if you're running any 32-bit applications, they'll want the x86 one. And LotRO still installs both x86 and x64. So right-click, say Run as Administrator. Yes. Yes. And this shouldn't take long. Although now that I'm on a virtual machine, it's taking longer than it did on my main rig. So did it finish? Maybe it's just done. Hard to tell on a virtual machine. Let's run the other one. It's quite a guide, huh? The blind leading the blind. Oh, you know what? A nice little thing we can do here. Hold on. Let's go to Settings, Apps, Installed Apps. And yeah, there, they did install. And you can actually watch these appear. We'll put this off to the corner. You can actually watch them appear as I install them. So yeah, it installed. I was just, some applications just silently succeed, and others want you to click finish, etc., etc. So, all right, so let's try this one. We're now in the 2010 folder. We're going to install both of these. This one we say, I have read and accept the license terms, but do not send me information. Don't check that bottom one, unless you want to. I wouldn't. Go ahead and click install. This one's a little more verbose. And we actually click finish on this one. And as you saw, it just popped up over there. That's the x86 one. Let's install the x64 one. And we'll see it pop up here in a minute. Even before we click finish, it appears there. So those are the 2010 and 2005. I'm going to go ahead and install these. I recommend you do too. They won't do any harm. Having said that, that's all you actually, well, no, you also want to install the DirectX one. So just ignore me. Let's just install them. They do no harm. They really can't do any harm. And you'll get them eventually if you install enough software on your computer. So many things use these. That's actually why setup's successful. All right. Those are quick. That's actually why some people have problems with LotRO and some people don't. Ironically, the less gummed up and pristine your computer is, the more likely you are to have, I shouldn't say that, because a super gummed up computer might have other issues, but by installing other software, which usually comes with these redistributables, these Microsoft C++, you might already have these installed, and then LotRO would have installed without any trouble. So if we go and we look now, we have 2005, 2005, 2010, 2010, 2015 to 2022, and 2015 to 2022. With Y2 of each, because x64 and x86. Of course, this one predates when they used to really differentiate. So this one's just the basic one, the vanilla one, and this is x64. And from here on out, yeah, anyways, you get it. And now the last prerequisite is this DirectX that we downloaded. And I'm going to right click and say run as administrator. This one gets a little trickier because first it wants to just extract to a place, and it's going to dump lots and lots of files in wherever you tell it to go. So don't just point it to your desktop or the root of your hard drive or something like that. You'll make a mess of it. So we actually want to say let's see, like if I were to just say desktop and say OK, that would be a problem because it would make a mess. So we're actually going to create a folder to contain all this. I usually just, for this type of thing, I make a folder called inst, short for install. Now the thing is, it probably won't refresh this, so I won't see that inst there. So I can cancel this browsing for a folder. Rebrowse, and now if I expand desktop, there's the inst folder I just created. We'll click OK, and a whole bunch of stuff comes out into this install folder. As you can see, you didn't want all of this on your desktop. So anyways, we find the dxsetup.exe in this location where we extracted this, and we right click and we say run as administrator. And it says, I accept. We say, I accept. And we click next. In the live stream I did of this, in one of them, I keep doing these live streams and then rambling on and on. I actually showed what changes in the WoW64 or syswow64 or whatever folder. You can see all the extensions that it dumps in there. And they are not there, especially I think it was probably in the Steam install one I did. They were not there after the Steam install, but the ones you need are there for the Standing Stone games SSG's standalone installer. Oh, okay, that was confusing. Hi, I'm inserting a clip here. This is future Hurin coming. And I usually just say Hurin, but Hurin is. Anyways, that's an aside. I've been using this kind of name for 20 years, and oh gosh, longer. Scary. Okay, sorry. Focus. There's two things you want to do before you actually begin the download of the LotRO client and its installation. So you click Start and you just type in sleep, and then you click Change when the PC sleeps when plugged in, and we want to turn this to Never because you don't want the computer to fall asleep in mid-download, and I've seen it happen. So turn that off. Do remember to come back and turn these back to your preferred setting once LotRO is fully installed. And then from the same screen down here in the lower left, again, this is all Windows 11, go to Windows Update and change this to, oh, now look at that. It's already downloading some stuff. But anyways, we can ignore that. Go to Advanced Options, and you want to receive updates for other Microsoft products. And that will make sure your Visual C++ runtimes get updates, at least the ones that are still within their support window. So that those latest packages we installed. And that's pretty much it. I should also mention from this point forward in the video, it's pretty much just proof of concept, just demonstrating to any doubters that yes, it does install now with no problems now that you have the prerequisites installed. But you're essentially done doing all the shenanigans. You've got your prerequisites. You can now just go install LotRO. Back to the rest of the video now. Okay, we finish. Okay. We are good to go. If you were to install LotRO now, you would have no problems, unless there is something otherwise mangled about your system. But what we've done here is, if it's a pristine system, a pristine install of Windows, we've gotten past the problem with pristine systems, which is it doesn't have the proper prerequisites. And the game doesn't install the prerequisites it needs, or at least for Steam it doesn't any. So we are just fixing that and making sure everything's good. We're gonna start the download, but if you'd like to see me do the Steam install, that's in a prior live stream, and you can see me purposefully kind of make mistakes. Do it like an end user would do it. See it fail and then install the prerequisites manually. First the Visual C++, and that gets it to get into the patcher, and then the patcher barfs and has problems because of the lack of DirectX runtimes, and then things got a little crappy to the point where I was like, would I even trust this install of LotRO? It's probably fine, but I don't know. You can then go install the DirectX runtimes like we just did, and then launch the game and everything works. At which point, I'm a purist. I would probably go back, uninstall the game, and reinstall it just to make sure everything's fine. I mean, it should be fine. I actually compared the directory sizes. It was only missing one file, and that might not be a file that's actually used by the game. It might be vestigial, it might be a text file, it might be a log file, who knows. But it was just one file missing, and the size was comparable. I gotta get this running while I talk, otherwise I'm just wasting time. I'm wasting your time, and that's inexcusable. So let's go ahead and get this running. So yeah, it probably would have been fine. An ugly install that ends up fine as long as you know to go get these prerequisites like I did in that live stream. But I just feel like, you see the weird, I almost said weird blank things that that have been happening to people lately with like crashing in Heightbolt and then being locked out, and they reinstall the game and for some reason that helps, which makes no sense to me. There's nothing about what you're doing in the game that should reach out and corrupt something in your install. I mean, it's not like writing a cache or anything to the. That just makes no sense to me. But hey, that's what they say is happening, and but that's yet another reason I'd say to be very cautious and make sure you get a clean install of this game. So that's why I said that, at the end of that Steam install live stream, yeah, it was running, but now that the prerequisites are in, I would uninstall the game and reinstall it. I know it's a long download and things like that, and it depends on your internet connection. I'm blessed, humbled, and fortunate to have a gigabit internet connection here, so this actually doesn't take too long. But this is just me doing what I love to do. Hard day of work, come home, install LotRO. That's that's my recreation. I don't play the game. I just install it and I uninstall it, reinstall it. It's just what I do. J.J. Abrams does not understand hyperspace. I get that Ryan Johnson did his thing with hyperspeed ramming. I have my issues with that too. But I actually got the community manager for LotRO to crack up because during one of their Twitch streams, I bring back Pando, and he seemed to know what I was talking about, and that got a laugh out of him. And this was after I was banned, and I was using Harun as my name, so no hard feelings. The Fellowship of the Ring is an absolutely fantastic adaptation. But the absolute worst part is the army of the dead at Minas Tirith. It looked like Pippin and Gandalf could have held out a little longer there in that citadel. And if Theoden had just, stopped to relieve himself for 10 minutes on the side of the road before arriving at Minas Tirith, everything would have been fine without them. They weren't necessary. It rendered all their sacrifices unnecessary. Because as soon as the army of green scrubbing bubbles shows up, there's no need for anyone else. They could do I think that's bad storytelling. I think maybe I'm overthinking it. I tend to do that. All right. Why remembered my password? I agree. Read this in its entirety, read this in its entirety, and click I agree. And, excuse me. And don't panic. I thought that it had failed to launch once before and crashed silently, which is what it used to do. On a test run on a VM, though, I did have to launch it twice, but not this time. As you see there, we detect that this machine is capable of running DirectX 11, which is funny considering it's a virtual GPU, but here we go. Go away, game bar. And there we go. And allow access. I'm not a fan of it doing this auto resizing, so let's turn that off. All right, and hopefully that won't have screwed this stream up too much. Well, it's still auto resizing. Hopefully you just see it in a corner. Let me see what you see here. Yeah, you're seeing it in a corner. That's fine. Sorry about that, though. We'll fix that in just a minute. So, our worst fears have come to pass. Let's get in here. So yeah, as you can see, we're working. We're in DirectX 11. Again, this is in a virtual machine. Do not judge. Do not be harsh. It's not going to be good. But it shows that it works. So let's get this to the proper... There we go. And I think we'll leave it at that. As you can see, it worked. No muss, no fuss. And that process, that if you watch from the beginning, that'll also get you installed on Steam. I wouldn't recommend Steam, as I've said before. Why? Use Steam when you need to use Steam, but you don't need to use Steam to play LotRO. So, in my opinion, don't. But why don't we wrap this up? Because we are in game, and I'm rotating it. It's so slow. But we are in game. It is working. Thank you for checking this out, and hopefully the actual saved, edited video will be much shorter than this. All right. Everyone, have a good evening. Enjoy Middle-earth when you can.